Hi, this is John O'Brien with California Creedence at californiacreedence.com. I wanted to go over a few things that our band has learned over the last 10 years that we've been around. So one of the things that bands will do when a new staff member comes on is they'll say to the staff member, what are you willing to commit to the band? We have rehearsals every Monday from 6 to 9 p.m. Are you ready to commit to that? The band member might be like, I have a full-time job, I have family and stuff like that. Ooh, that sounds like a lot. And so that brings up another issue about whether or not you're going to ask for a commitment from the band member, or whether you're going to take the first step and say, so thanks for coming and thanks for auditioning, we like you, and we would like you to participate in the band. Here's what we are going to do for you. We are going to provide you performances, and we're going to provide you paying performances. We are not going to demand a lot from your schedule as far as rehearsals, but we are going to expect you to spend time on your own and learn, practice, and know your presets prior to the few rehearsals that we have. That way you can actually get on with the business of performing and making some money. So that's one of the things you want to make up front if you want to retain your staff. So that brings up another issue about rehearsals. If you are rehearsing every week, but you don't have many performances on the books, that's going to be really discouraging for people who have a busy schedule. If you have musicians that are good and they're very busy and they're rehearsing, and there aren't any gigs that are happening, they're going to get discouraged and want to leave the band pretty quick. That would be unless there are a lot of other ties among band members and they're just having fun. They're retired, they don't care about money, and they really don't care about performance. They just like jamming every week. That's fine, but if you're actually wanting to have a cover band where you want to do shows and make some money and you want good band members to stick around, that may not be the way to go. And that would be also the thing about if you're looking at having too few rehearsals. Sometimes folks will say, if you have too few rehearsals, what's going to happen is that people are going to leave the band because they're going to get interested in other bands. Well, that's fine, because if they go into another band, the other band is going to say, what are you willing to commit to this band? We have rehearsals every Monday from 6 to 9. We don't have many gigs yet, but you need to show your commitment here. And they're going to be like, I kind of like that California Creedence band. I don't think I'm going to stick with this. I like the paradigm with the other band. And so that's one of the reasons why it's really good to mitigate the rehearsals. Our band rehearses about 3 to 4 times a year. And that's because we keep our set list the same. One of the ways I retain our staff is by not changing the set list too much. Sometimes you see bands and they have a set list that's a mile long, like their karaoke machine. And really, we just have a very cognitive, very logically planned show, with set 1 doing this thing and set 2 doing this thing. Each set has its own intention for the audience, and the audience can tell, hey, this is a scripted show. And it discourages people from making song requests because they can see that the band really knows what they're doing. And so that's one of the reasons why it's really easy for us to not spend a lot of time in rehearsal, because we're playing mostly the same show each year. Maybe each year I add about 2 or 3 new songs and throw out a few songs that we noticed that the crowd wasn't really responding to. So that's how you retain staff without losing them or discouraging. And lastly, you want to be careful about when you have a couple of band members that are friends prior to getting into your band. If they're friends before getting into the band, they can form what's called a coalition. And so a coalition can be a couple of band members that have their own backstory going on, and they're banding together, and they'll say, well, if that person is fired, or if that person, I don't really fire anybody, but if that person quits, then I'm going to quit. And so they have a coalition, so now they have kind of an advantage. So I always discourage, if at all possible, try not to hire friends into the same band, because what you might start developing is a coalition happening in your band, and that can wreak havoc on the band. And the other policy that I have with California Creedence is not tripping out if other band members are participating in their own projects. Maybe they have their own project going. Maybe they're even playing in another band. We are not possessive. We already know that our band is attractive enough for musicians to want to stay. So I never really worry about it. And one of the reasons why I also don't worry about things is I always have replacement staff in the know. So I go after a lot of gigs. I go and attend a lot of gigs, try to stay plugged into the music scene. We had a bunch of guys leave our band in mass about 4 years ago. They were all replaced within 48 hours, and that was because I had already had connections with other performers. And thankfully the singer at the time said, I know we have gigs on the books, I'll be willing to stick around. And that was very awesome of him. The other thing is you want to look at how much work each band member is doing. Splitting everything evenly amongst band members who contribute differently may not be such a good idea, because what will eventually happen is the longevity of your band may suffer, and there might be a guy who does most of the work, most of the programming, and most everything. That person should be taking a larger chunk of each performance, and then as band members want to be paid more, then it will be under the condition that they're willing to do more. And generally a non-stable kind of, not non-stable, but a payout that is commensurate with how much effort each band member puts in is more appropriate than just simply splitting everything evenly. If there is conflict in the band, I would avoid working it out too quickly, because band members, one of the nice things about musicians is we're passionate people. We have a lot of opinions and we can develop a lot of things, but if we stop and we make a big deal out of some particular issue, it can be a constant putting out fires. One of the things that I encourage people to do in a band, since I'm the band leader, is if they do have something wrong amongst band members, is to make sure that they go to that band member and work things out. If it rises to the level of my having to give attention to it, it's usually too late. I also have a policy that once somebody's in the band, they are permanently a band member, and I find that to be more securing for the band member to feel that they belong more than just to a band of musicians, but they're actually participating as an employee in a business. And that brings up something else. Bands are not democratic. Bands are a business. The business has a leader. There's a band leader who should be paid more if they're doing more. And then underneath the band leader are the people that would be the line staff. And there might be some people that carry on other duties. Like, for example, we have one of our guys that is a fantastic salesman. So I'm the person that does a lot of the work in the band. Then we have a salesperson who gets us good deals. He reaches out, he's very good at PR. And then we have a fantastic singer and an excellent guitar player. But everybody shares a different place and they are paid differently. And the reason for that is because we want to make sure and compensate everybody fairly depending on how much they are investing in the band with their time and their money and their efforts. So it should not be a democratic process. There should be a band manager who executes things, and then line staff who are the ones that are following the dictates of a band manager. If there are band members who don't like to be in that kind of a paradigm, it's probably a good idea to start looking for a replacement musician, which is something that I do. Is I always stay plugged into the entertaining community, getting in touch with guitarists, singers, drummers, anybody out there, because if I'm in good graces with other musicians in my community, if I have a band member that for one reason or another they have made a decision to leave the band, there won't be very much downtime because I already have a community of people who want to play in the band that are willing to take that place. So that's a lot. It's a long video, and I know there's a lot that's been said. These are just based on experience, and I would encourage you to obviously take these as suggestions, not as orders. These are just some things that we've learned as a band, and I really think that being in a cover band is a wonderful service that we give to the community, and it's something that should be enjoyed and celebrated by everybody, because music is a universal language.